You've been lying, seniors. Your muscles aren't deteriorating with age if you're over 60. Rather, they're starving from unfulfilled demands. Large drug firms want you to be weak. You need more medications the weaker you get. Injections, costly treatments, and protein powders are all components of a billion-dollar business that keeps elderly people reliant and deteriorating. Here's what they're concealing, though. 8 ancient forgotten grains, yes, grains, have been clinically proven to improve balance, repair muscle tissue, and even reverse sarcopenia, the hidden muscle withering that affects over half of today's seniors. Millions of people are currently having difficulty getting out of their chairs. Others are no longer strong enough to open jars, carry groceries, or simply walk without worrying about collapsing. Aging isn't like that. That is the result of depriving your diet of fuel that builds muscle. We're revealing 8 potent grains in today's video that can revive muscle growth without the need for a single supplement, graded from beneficial to completely transformative. According to a 2022 study published in the Journal of Clinical Metabolism, grain number 2 increases leg strength by 28% in just 6 weeks without the requirement for exercise. However, very few people over 60 are eating it properly. Tell us your age and where you're viewing from in the comment section before we get started. Every comment is being addressed with tailored guidance. Remember to enable notifications and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any crucial advice. Let's start with number 8 now. Believe me, if you neglect it, you may lose years of mobility. The 8th is Amaranth. Although it may resemble birdseed, Amaranth is one of the most potent grains for growing muscle that you have ever encountered. Your type 2 muscular fibers, which are in charge of strength, stability, and explosive movement, are the targets of sarcopenia. These fibers quickly shrink around age 60 unless they are fed a full range of amino acids. With all 9 essential amino acids, including lysine and methionine, which are vital for the synthesis of collagen and muscle protein, Amaranth is one of the few grains that provides just that. Without altering their exercise regimen, seniors who added just half a cup of cooked amaranth daily for 10 weeks saw a 19% increase in muscle thickness, according to a 2021 study published in the Journal of Nutrition in Aging Populations. How do you obtain these advantages then? Begin now. In 1.5 cups of water, cook half a cup of amaranth. Simmer for 20 minutes or until it is tender and has the consistency of porridge. To improve absorption, eat it in the morning, preferably with a cooked egg or a tablespoon of almond butter. Avoid putting it in the microwave. Some of its sensitive chemicals, like squalene, a potent antioxidant that aids in muscle cell repair, are destroyed by heat. Here's what most folks don't understand. Like quinoa, amaranth is rinsed, but doing so eliminates a crucial coating of peptides that promote muscle building. Simply boil it on low heat without rinsing. Introducing Dorothy, a retired piano instructor from Michigan who is 72 years old. After lengthy classes, she used to have trouble standing and need a walker when she went grocery shopping. She had borderline sarcopenia, according to her doctor. Dorothy discovered amaranth one day while observing her granddaughter look up gluten-free grains online for a school assignment. She asked her doctor out of curiosity, but he rejected it, so she gave it a shot. Her grip strength increased by 22% after 2 months of incorporating it into her morning routine, and she is now able to walk more than a mile without assistance. The following grain goes even farther than amaranth, which is a full protein source. It opens a secret muscle route that most doctors don't even consider. Freekeh is number 7. Freekeh isn't a misspelling. A hidden weapon against age-related muscle loss can be found in this neglected ancient grain. The higher quantities of resistant starch, a special type of fiber that supports your gut microbiota, are locked in when grains are harvested young when still green. Why is that important? Because recent studies have demonstrated a direct correlation between gut flora and older adults' physical strength. Freekeh, or whole-roasted green wheat, is particularly high in precursors of short-chain fatty acids, which are substances that cause the synthesis of butyrate, a chemical that improves muscle metabolism and lowers inflammation. According to a 2023 clinical study that was published in the Journal of Geriatric Muscle Research, older persons who had 1 cup of cooked Freekeh every day experienced a 24% increase in leg extension strength and an approximately 0.4-meter improvement in walking speed, a significant improvement in fall prevention. Cook 1 cup of Freekeh in 2.5 cups of vegetable or bone broth to make this work for you. As it simmers, add a bit of black pepper and turmeric. Its anti-inflammatory properties are enhanced by this. Never consume it undercooked or dry. The starch becomes more difficult to digest and less available. This is what most people overlook. Freekeh must be kept out of direct sunlight in a sealed container. Roughly no packaging alerts you to the fact that it loses roughly 40% of its butyrate potential if it oxidizes. Introducing Alan, a Colorado firefighter who is 68 years old. He had always been active, but recently, as he went upstairs, his knees gave way and he experienced persistent thigh pain. He once witnessed a chef cooking Freekeh and declaring it to be a strong grain while watching a trip program about Middle Eastern cuisine. Alan produced a batch every week after researching it and ordering a bag online. His leg press machine weight increased from 120 to 160 pounds in just 6 weeks, and he now confidently hikes twice a week. The next grain, however, has a nutritional profile so similar to muscle meat that some researchers are referring to it as plant-based steak for seniors. To help more seniors view and subscribe to the video, please hit the like button if you have enjoyed it thus far. You won't want to miss our upcoming senior health tips videos, which are getting stronger every day. Teff is number 6. Although teff is the smallest grain in the world, it may be the most powerful for elderly people. After age 60, iron deficiency and poor protein quality can cause muscle loss to accelerate. An ancient Ethiopian grain called teff provides both in a potent bioavailable form. It has a higher lysine to leucine ratio and more iron per gram than any other grain, which together promote muscle rebuilding more effectively than regular whole wheat or oats. According to a 2022 study published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition and Aging, older persons who drank teff porridge every day for 8 weeks saw a 21% increase in their muscle density ratings, as well as obvious improvements in their energy, posture, and balance. To achieve these effects, use 1 part teff to 3 parts water to cook the teff into a creamy porridge. For further iron support, sprinkle on a teaspoon of molasses, a splash of sea salt, and cinnamon after 15 minutes of gentle stirring. Consume it as soon as you wake up. When taken on an empty stomach with a vitamin C source, such as a few slices of orange, iron absorption is at its peak. Here's a secret, though. Never consume cold teff or leftovers from the previous day. The iron-binding substances in the grain solidify when it cools, greatly reducing the absorption of the nutrients. Eat it fresh and warm at all times. Introducing Estelle, a 75-year-old Atlanta grandma who used to teach dance. After several falls and persistent exhaustion, she had given up dancing. She came into an article titled Teff, the iron grain that moves you, one afternoon while perusing a nutrition site that her physical therapist had suggested. That weekend, she prepared her first teff porridge, despite her skepticism. She was able to ascend stairs on her own by week 5. Her hemoglobin levels increased from 11.1 to 12.8 after 2 months, and she took a senior dance class, something she hadn't done in more than 10 years. However, what if there was a grain that simultaneously strengthened your muscles and mended the tissue in your joints? Let's unveil the 5th. Buckwheat comes in at number 5. Buckwheat isn't actually wheat. It's a grain-like seed that might be the best muscle-building supplement for adults over 60 that protects their joints. The problem is that the majority of elderly people with sarcopenia also have stiff joints, particularly in the shoulders, hips, and knees. This is because connective tissue deterioration frequently coexists with muscle loss. D-chiroinositol, a rare plant molecule found in buckwheat, encourages collagen cross-linking, which keeps your joints together while your muscles recover. According to a 2020 study published in the Journal of Inflammation and Aging, seniors who ate buckwheat 3 times a week experienced a 34% decrease in joint stiffness scores and a 26% increase in muscle suppleness, particularly on early morning mobility tests. Try this today by toasting raw buckwheat in a dry skillet until it smells nutty, 3 to 5 minutes, and then boiling it in a 1:2 ratio with water or bone broth. Serve it warm as a basis for a salad with chopped parsley, lemon juice, and olive oil. To optimize the use of collagen, eat it within 30 minutes of engaging in light exercise, such as a stroll or stretching session. The secret is to keep your buckwheat in the refrigerator, especially if it's raw. This maintains its inositol level, which decreases by 60% after more than a month at ambient temperature. Introducing Thomas, a 70-year-old former Oregon postman. He suffered from acute morning stiffness and worn-out knees from years of walking routes. He grabbed a little bag after hearing someone at his neighborhood farmer's market rave about buckwheat mending their joints. He observed smoother mornings after 2 weeks. By week 6, he had resumed kneeling, bending, and even some yard work. His balance score significantly improved, and his physical therapist saw a 17-degree increase in joint flexion. However, what if I told you that there is a grain that, without the negative effects of whey or beef protein, mimics leucine-triggered protein synthesis? You should listen to number 4. The fourth is sorghum. You'll be shocked by this. Leucine, the amino acid present in high percentages in beef and whey protein, activates the same muscle-building pathway as sorghum, a common drop-resistant grain. Anabolic resistance is the process by which your muscles stop responding to growth signals after the age of 60. For this reason, despite eating a lot of protein, many seniors nevertheless lose muscle. Special polyphenols and peptides found in sorghum activate the mTOR pathway, the master switch for muscle building. However, it accomplishes this without increasing inflammation or putting undue strain on your kidneys, unlike meat or supplements. In comparison to a control group that ate rice, older persons who consumed sorghum porridge twice a day saw a 29% increase in muscle protein synthesis and a 31% decrease in post-meal inflammation, according to a 2023 randomized controlled study published in the Journal of Functional Muscle Science. Cook pearled sorghum in vegetable broth for 45 minutes to make this work for you. Allow it to cool slightly before combining it with roasted squash, pumpkin seeds, and arugula for a meal that will help you build muscle. Eat it warm at all times. Its polyphenols are activated by reheating. The secret tip is to make sure you soak thoroughly. To counteract phytates, which are substances that prevent the absorption of the very amino acids you want, soak sorghum overnight with a little apple cider vinegar. Introducing Gloria, a 69-year-old San Antonio native who used to work as a caterer. She was annoyed that her upper body strength continued to decline despite eating more chicken and eggs. When her sports nutritionist daughter came to visit one evening, she prepared a warm sorghum salad for her as a plant-based substitute. Gloria dismissed it with a laugh, but 2 weeks later she became very energetic. Her bicep strength increased by 18% by week 5, and her C-reactive protein and other inflammatory indicators decreased from 4.8 to 2.7 milligrams per liter. The shift was described as profound by her physician. However, what if the substance that drives muscle contraction, creatine, could be mimicked by a grain and be safer for elderly people than the supplement itself? Millet is number 3. Most seniors ignore millet, a grain that functions similarly to a plant-based creatine booster. Your muscles store a substance called creatine, which gives you the strength to lift, move, and react. Natural creatine levels decrease with age, making daily tasks like balancing or climbing stairs more difficult and time-consuming. Although creatine supplements can be beneficial, they are frequently expensive, cause bloating, and strain the kidneys. In contrast, millet includes guanidino acetate, a direct precursor to creatine which naturally promotes muscular contraction when combined with magnesium and B vitamins. After 8 weeks without exercise, older persons who ate millet-based meals 5 times a week demonstrated a 32% increase in lower limb power production and notable improvements in balancing reaction time, according to a 2022 study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry. How can one access this ability then? For 25 minutes, bring 1 cup of millet to a boil with 2.5 cups of water or broth. Add a teaspoon of coconut oil, powdered flax seeds, and a pinch of sea salt and stir. The main substances that form creatine are better absorbed when combined. Eat it whenever you're at your busiest, preferably before or after a chore or a walk. Here's the tip too. Never mix millet with dairy or other meals high in calcium. The muscle-building effect is ruined by calcium, which inhibits creatine production routes and reduces magnesium absorption. Introducing Bruce, a 74-year-old Tampa native who used to instruct tennis. He lost faith in his legs after a small tumble made him reluctant to move swiftly. Bruce heard the term millet is senior creatine while speaking with a retired physical therapist at a nearby community center. After laughing, he looked it up on Google that evening. After incorporating millet into his lunch 5 times a week for 3 weeks, Bruce observed that his reflexes had returned. He gradually made his way back to the court by week 8, and he currently plays doubles every Saturday. In a stair-climbing test, he increased his power output by 34 watts and completely lost his fear of falling. This following grain, however, contains a secret that nobody knows. It feeds your hormones in addition to your muscles. Now let's explore number 2. Rye is number 2. Bread is not the only use for rye. This hormone-boosting superfood combats sarcopenia by re-establishing the signals that instruct your body to gain muscle. The majority of people are unaware of this. A decrease in anabolic hormones, particularly growth hormone and testosterone, after the age of 60 is one of the main silent causes of muscle loss. Small levels of these hormones are necessary for preserving stamina, coordination, and lean muscle mass, even in women. The special lignans and alkyl resorcinols found in rye help maintain hormone balance, lower cortisol, the stress hormone that causes muscle breakdown, and increase insulin sensitivity, all of which are essential for maintaining muscle mass. Seniors who ate 100 grams of rye every day for 8 weeks saw a 28% increase in free testosterone levels and a 23% improvement in muscle strength scores, particularly in hand grip and core stability, according to a 2022 study published in the Journal of Endocrine Metabolism and Aging. Choose dark, whole-grain rye rather than the light-colored refined kind if you want to attempt this today. It can be cooked into whole rye berries and eaten like a grain bowl with mustard greens and soft-boiled eggs, or it can be baked or toasted into thin crackers. Always combine it with a healthy fat source such as avocado or extra virgin olive oil to improve the absorption of lignin, which supports hormones. Additionally, if you are on blood sugar medicine, never eat rye on an empty stomach. By delaying the absorption of carbohydrates, it can significantly reduce blood glucose levels. Introducing Vincent, a 71-year-old New Orleans jazz bassist. Even though he was eating healthily, he was experiencing weariness, a lack of motivation, and diminishing forearms. While watching a Scandinavian cooking show one evening, he came upon a recipe for dark rye porridge that was referred to as Elder Warrior meal. He began substituting rye for his typical oats out of curiosity. His arm strength increased by 21% and his vitality returned within a month. Without taking medicine, his endocrinologist observed a slight increase in testosterone, and Vincent is now able to perform longer gigs without experiencing tremors or pain. And now at last, a grain so potent that it is being researched as a natural alternative to protein supplementation in clinical rehabilitation. Quinoa comes in first. For seniors, quinoa is nothing less than medical-grade muscular nutrition, despite its trendy sound. Quinoa is more than just a source of carbohydrates, unlike most grains. Being a complete protein, it has the precise ratio of all 9 necessary amino acids that your muscles require to repair. However, it goes farther. Additionally, quinoa is rich in B vitamins, phosphorus, and magnesium, the building blocks that mitochondria need to produce energy inside muscle cells. No matter how much protein you consume, your muscles will deteriorate without them. However, this is where quinoa truly excels. Seniors recovering from surgery who consume 3/4 cup of quinoa every day increased 3.5 pounds of lean muscle mass in 6 weeks without engaging in strength exercise, according to a 2023 double-blind scientific experiment that was published in the Journal of Scientific Rehabilitation Nutrition. Compared to most protein powders, that is superior. Rinse the quinoa well to get rid of saponins, which are substances that make you bloat. After that, simmer 1 cup for 15 minutes with 2 cups of water. Serve heated, topped with chopped tomatoes, black beans, and lime juice. For added zinc, which improves muscle regeneration and protein absorption, scatter some pumpkin seeds on top. Here's the tip that will transform everything. Quinoa should never be put in the pantry after being opened. The very amino acid that promotes tissue repair is destroyed by oxygen exposure. Store it in the refrigerator, sealed. Let me introduce you to Linda, a 66-year-old Santa Fe native who used to teach yoga. She lost about 12 pounds of muscle after a protracted illness and was unable to do a single sun salutation without passing out. Mom's son, who studies nutrition, pleaded with Mom to try quinoa instead of protein shakes. She was tired but skeptical. Every day she included quinoa in her lunch. She regained her muscular mass, improved her digestion, and became stronger in just 2 months. Her doctor referred to her 9.2-pound improvement in lean body mass from her DEXA scan as the most remarkable non-medical recovery he had witnessed in 10 years. Ultimately, the fight against sarcopenia is vital for anyone over 60. Every day, it takes place in silence. The biggest lie you've ever heard is that the only ways to restore your strength are through costly therapies, protein supplements, or powders. You know better now, though. And power comes along with that knowledge. Your life doesn't have to be completely changed. 1 grain, 1 meal, and 1 new habit are all you need to start with. We'd like to hear from you now. Which grain from this list have you actually tried before? This week, which one are you most eager to try? Tell us in the comments section. We're reading each one and responding with tailored guidance. Remember to enable notifications and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any crucial advice. Thank you for watching.